The Joel Shit Show, featuring Joel Shit. Hi, welcome to the Joel Shit Show. I'm your host, Joel Shit. I'm a little out there because yesterday I was awake for 20 hours after getting 5 hours of sleep, and I got a little more sleep last night, but I'm still kind of loopy. And I had a double mocha yesterday, and I'm probably going to have more Diet Dr. Pepper today, and I had a huge burrito yesterday, and oh man, it's just like the 90s all over again. I tell you what, where's my jean jacket and my fanny pack? Oh boy. So first of all, the show I went to Noise Pop last night at Rickshaw Stop. Noise Pop's getting so big that they have like 6 things every night. Instead of making it take longer, they said, why don't we just take over 4 or 5 venues for a week? And so now you could get the press pass and go to as many things as you want, but I mean, it's a legitimate festival. Like people here go to South by Southwest, or they go to Coachella, or they go to Reading or Glastonbury or whatever. I bet you that people come out here to go to Noise Pop, which just boggles the mind because it's not right in my backyard, but it's at the neighbor's house. You know, it's not bad. But I feel very fortunate to get to go. In fact, I'm even more fortunate because I got to go for free, +1, although it was 2 singles pushed together into a +1. I wrote the review. It's 1,307 words. It will be at spinningplatters.com. In fact, by the time this uploads, because I'm at home today, so it's going to get uploaded at a slow rate because it's, my speed's not very fast. By the time you hear this, go to spinningplatters.com. It might not even be the top story anymore. It might be buried. But look for the Noise Pop review for Z Affy, the Hot Toddies, Leslie and the Badgers, and Tiny Television. And it will be very obvious, and if nothing else, it'll be like listening to the Joel Shit Show featuring Joel Shit, except you'll be reading it for 15 minutes, or however long it takes you to read 1,300 words. Some of us read very slowly. That is why I write very slowly, because sometimes people can't read very fast, and I don't want them to fall behind. So, woke up at 5, and I went to the gym, and I had to drive to work because I had to go to Millbrae to get on the BART to go to the city to see the show. Although there is a lot of parking in Hayes Valley, I could have just driven straight there. But the meters run till 6. I had to start work at 5:30, and I didn't want to pay for a meter, so I took BART. And I'm happy with the decision I made. Turns out that at 5:15 yesterday morning, someone who had left their vehicle on the train tracks in Sunnyvale decided, well, they didn't decide anything, but here comes the first Caltrain of the day, so maybe it was there all night, who knows. Hi, I'm the Caltrain. Caltrain doesn't have a steering wheel, but I'm pretending it does. And so then the tracks were shut down till like 7:45, or I don't know when, sometime around then. And so they had a bus bridge from Sunnyvale to Mountain View because people couldn't get on the tracks. Then they resumed single tracking, and I assume they eventually got things back on track. You get it? I missed all that because I drove to work. So, I don't know. What can I say? Sometimes you got to put yourself before the environment. I don't know. This will be the episode that comes back to haunt me when I run for office. He didn't take mass transit. Instead of sitting in a bus for 3 hours, he drove for 35 minutes. So, then, last night, the train that I take home normally, the 368 that leaves Redwood City Caltrain at 5:06, gets to Tommy at 5:39, gets home just in time for my 6 o'clock shift, although I started at 5:30 yesterday. In fact, let me check my schedule today. Yes, I work 5:30 again today. It hit an elderly man at San Antonio, which it's not a regular station, so it was going to pull through at, 35 miles an hour or whatever. So there's this elderly old man. Hello, I'm an elderly old man. Elderly old is, I guess that would be redundant. So guess what? That train caused a delay because it hit the guy. That's the train I would have been on. Now, apparently you aren't a real Caltrain commuter till you've been on one that's hit somebody, because it happens about once every 3 weeks. So it's like playing the lottery, except you don't really want to win. So I'm sure I'm going to hear about it on Monday when I go back to work, because today I'm working from home. Hello. So it was a good show. What am I talking about? I haven't talked about the show yet. Bad show, as they say on Danger Mouse. So that was a huge delay, but I wasn't going home. I was already in San Francisco when that happened. So, lucky me. Work itself, I would normally talk about, but there's just too much that happened yesterday. The director of new media visited me in my office, and we had a good chat, and everyone was really impressed with all the work I've done on the site. So, work is awesome. So, I had put on Facebook, and I'd asked some other friends, where am I going to work when I get in Hayes Valley? Because I got to work for Yahoo 5:30 to 9. And Hayes Valley is not Potrero Hill, so there's not a coffee shop that's open late on every corner. So there's All-Star Donuts at Van Ness Market. And so what am I going to do? Well, I guess I'm going to sit there. So I look, and there's a seat next to an outlet. All right. So I sit down, and I plug in my computer, and I turn my laptop on, and I notice the battery is being used. Well, it turns out that the outlet at All-Star Donuts does not work. And so I had to run off of battery power. And my battery ran out right at 9 o'clock. So luckily I didn't have to stay late. But I was cutting it pretty close. If I have to do a show in Hayes Valley again, I'm going to have to, I don't know, I'm going to have to turn that computer on right at 5:30. I turned it on at 5:15 so I could get ready for my shift, and that almost caused me to miss the end of my shift. So I'm not making that mistake again. So go down to Rickshaw Stop, and I'm on the press list for Noise Pop, and I'm on the Ziafi list, the band, she's the headliner. And so at first they couldn't find me on the Ziafi list, but they found me. And so then my girlfriend got into, and we saw the show. And the show was great. You can read about it at spinningplatters.com. And then after that, we went to Civic Center BART, got there right when the train showed up. We got off at 24th and Mission. We went to El Farolito and got burritos. Walked back to the BART station. Got there with 4 minutes to spare before the next train showed up. Took that to Millbrae and drove home, and we had burritos. It was awesome. And then I went to sleep, and then I woke up, and now you have me in my present state. It was a fun day, much better than most of the days that I've had this year. Not that this year has sucked, but I haven't had time to do anything. It was a very fun year. Fun day. So yes, spinningplatters.com, check out the review. It's the one part about tonight I didn't really talk about. It reads just like a good episode of the Joel Schitt Show featuring Joel Schitt. It's not a slow news day show review at all. So it's like a classic episode, back when the show was good. Remember that, when like 30 people would watch instead of 5? Don't worry, in 6 months the show will be good again, I promise you. That's all the time we have for today. Visit us on the web at joelshittshow.com. Email Joel at joelshittshow.com.